Hello, and welcome back to the Weekend Spread presented by the Pigskin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me, we got Ty, we got Jameson, we got Blake. And look, I'm just going to get right to the chase here, Blake. It's championship week, making our picks, and a very noticeable absence in the Big 12 championship. Oklahoma obviously didn't make it. So, this is something I'm sure you've been waiting to dance on OU's grave fully all season long. So I'm just gonna let you go. Go for it, man.
Yep, so the Shield, you can't beat the Shield, okay? You come at the Shield and you're gonna get the Hateful Eight, and as we've seen this season, the Hateful Eight put a doozy on Oklahoma. We finally got two losses from the Shield. That's all we needed to knock y'all out. It was perfect. This is the perfect ending to things, and I started it. Of course, I cold-taked myself by taking out the OU National Championship future, saying it's their year, to only culminate to this. A nice Alamo Bowl appearance under interim coach Bob Stoops. That feels great. It feels, as Red Skull said it in Avengers Endgame, a soul for a soul. Y'all almost took down our conference. We took out y'all's coach. That's how it goes, and I feel great. This has been the best week. This has just been the best week.
So you know what? We're quoting fictional Nazis now?
Yes, soul for a soul. And we got your soul this week.
Boy, soul is mine.
I don't get the reference.
I don't know. Blake probably also has like an animal husbandry degree from OSU to complete.
Yeah, Blake has a degree from every Big 12 institution.
There you go.
That's my goal now. That's my goal.
I guess so. So, as far as Weekend Spread business is concerned,
I have a law degree from every Big 12 institution.
Together, we form a mighty shield of paper.
The most interesting one would be definitely going to BYU and trying to get a degree. We could start maybe our own podcast series about that.
Well, because then you'd have 3 degrees and 3 wives.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Lord.
Oh no,
Future Big 12 commissioner Blake.
I'm gonna stop. No Mormon jokes on this pod. Anyways,
that wasn't a man joke. That was
I said Mormon. Okay.
I thought you said more men.
No. Okay. Fine. Look.
No.
Weekend Spread business. In case y'all didn't.
Motion to suspend the Weekend Spread rules.
I'm sure y'all have obviously been tracking the records, as all of our listeners do. We tied again at 3-5, so we're going into the final week of the season completely tied, winner take all. Basically, it's intense because really there's no one wins anything. Nobody gets any money. All we have is a punishment for the last place participant. And Jameson, what happens to the last place participant?
This has been something I've been wanting to do for a while for a punishment, and I think this will be very entertaining. It is not excruciating punishment as listening to 18 hours of TCU's fight song or Boomer Sooner, but this is inspired by the great Joey Chestnut, and for a solid week, you can choose your week. What, Ty?
Why does Jameson get? I'm the defending champion. Why does Jameson get to decide?
We all
agreed on it. We agreed.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. But the listeners don't know that, so I'm stirring the pot.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Weird flex.
So when Ty loses, he tries to make a legal claim to it.
I want a reason to. Well, let Jameson explain this first.
He's trying to dodge the dog.
So yes, talking about dogs. And I gave you a little bit of Joey Chestnut. The loser will have to eat a hot dog as fast as they can every day for a week. And on the last day, we call it Double Dog Sunday. And you have to eat 2 dogs as fast as you can. And I'm really curious to the loser to see if they get better in their ability to guzzle down a nice dog. If they get better form, better methodology, dump the bun in some water. But we were having a little bit of argument before the pod about how to easily create a hot dog. And it was the microwave and boiling. But here's the thing with boiling, and I wanted to say this. You want a soggy dog already, And I'm going to be dipping my bun in water to begin with, so I don't care how soggy it is. I'll put it in some boiling water. I'm going to be dipping every single bun into that big old glass of water I can if I lose.
So the soggy dog, like boiling it'll just make it a little smoother. You have to deal with the crunch. You just throw that thing back there. You can dry it off, obviously, if you wanted to, but you don't have to deal with that same crispy texture you'd get if you grilled or fried it.
No, okay. So the argument that we were having before was microwaving versus boiling, right? Microwaving a hot dog appropriately does not make it crispy in any way, and it's high processed, like cheap meat. It's not. There's no flavor difference between boiling and microwaving, right?
It would suck all those nice juices out of it.
No,
That'd be a dry dog.
You just put a paper towel over it. That's all you gotta do.
There's a difference.
There is okay. Well, do you guys eat beef or pork? That's the thing, though.
Both.
What do you mean both?
Yeah.
What, both? Do you get hot dogs that are a mix of?
Yes, because if I buy myself, I'm getting
those
beef,
are not a thing.
and then pork or whatever pork remnants is at a baseball game or a football game.
It is a
I'll
hot
eat that.
dog. It does not matter if you microwave it or if you boil it, right? So I've lived in the North. Every podcast we delve into this fact that I've lived like all over the U.S. Brats, if we're talking brats, then yeah, it's a different game, right?
Do not eat
a brat. You will choke and die.
No, I'm not going to brat. Okay, well, first off, I have a medical condition. I have an abnormally small esophagus. I don't know if I can say
no, you actually can't. That's bad. I will have to cut that out. You cannot say that now.
There's a video.
Please, Bobby, don't screw this up, and please cut.
We're going into our last episode. One of our
708.
last episodes of the year.
Well, okay, we are also live on YouTube right now, so
that's fine. There's no one watching.
Michael Whitman's going to be so disappointed when he gets to this. God, Ty, man. Okay, keep going.
We'll just
but also, if we're gonna bring in competitive eaters, I think we need to do a little tribute also to my man Badlands and his recent move to chugging. I think maybe a 2-liter chug of orange soda might be.
No.
I'll do the lemonade.
Okay, so I don't even think we made it clear. So I think the rule or the law that we're all about to vote on and agree on, and now that we're 8 minutes into the podcast somehow,
and 14 weeks into the season,
is that every single day for a week, someone has to eat a hot dog Joey Chestnut style.
Yes.
So just before I pass the torch off to everyone else, in my apology video for being canceled, I guess that's what we're doing now. I'm committing. If I have to do it, I will go to Diamond Dogs every single day for a week and do this.
And you're going to eat a Diamond Dog sloppy.
Well, I'm not going to lose because we don't have a wild card this week, so I'm not going to lose. And
I would really enjoy seeing a video of you.
Give me an excuse to go to Diamond Dogs every single day this week or next week.
If you do go to Diamond Dogs, will you get one of their like big specialty dogs and try to do one of those one of the days?
I'll do
not just a regular dog.
I'll do a corn dog one day, and I'll just try to.
I want to see some nice, progression. Though, I want to see how fast you can get and see if you can get any better. I don't want you to choke, Ty. I know there's.
I'll start with the basic. I'll start with a basic one first.
Okay.
Do what you feel confident in, Ty.
If you boil them, it's going to have a little bit more moisture. It's going to slide down your gullet quicker.
You have to go as fast as possible.
What I'm saying
is your dogs are going to be dry.
You have to go as fast as possible.
What I'm saying is that it just means more, right? Like a Diamond Dogs dog is 2 normal grocery bought hot dogs, which I know that the rest of my co-hosts are going to commit to like grocery bought Oscar Mayer, no free sponsorships, like
Bar S.
dogs.
Shout out Oklahoma.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bar S. I botched it.
Well, I know.
I'd probably go Nathan's.
I know a certain member is going to go to Uptown Grocery, known creator of food deserts in OKC.
Oh, God.
Oh, dude. No. Oh no. Okay. Look, it's been 10 minutes and it's been 10 minutes and we've only talked about hot dogs. Zach Schwab hit me up.
Okay, what? Okay, and also, what happens if there's a possible tie at the end of this? Another tie.
We all gotta go home quizzies. No, okay. No tiebreaker. No. If there's a tie, everyone loses.
If you're tied at the bottom, you've screwed up.
Yeah, look, no, if there's a tie,
we are 56. We are 56 and 61. You're just the least.
Okay.
If you're tied, you're stuck on the weekly dogs.
Honestly, I don't want to commit to this, but the rule should be that everyone below 500 has to take the punishment.
Okay, let's actually have no.
If you're below 500, you have not won anything.
We won being better than you, the other jokers on this. But look, here's what we should do. If there are two people tied, then we time it, obviously, and whoever is the slower of the two has to eat 4 dogs. They get the other double dog of the double dog Sunday. So it's a quad. It's a quad dog Sunday.
No, everyone eats even if it's dogs.
Okay, what about 4-way tie? Is that mean somebody's getting 16 dogs?
Okay, good point. That doesn't work. So we'll just keep with the dog system and let's actually talk about some college football games.
But we have not established a tie, so somebody.
So a tie, then you're stuck with the dogs. You screwed up. You should have been better.
Okay.
Then everyone.
If there's a tie, you deserve to also face the punishment.
We are destined for a 4-way tie.
This is gonna be great.
This is hilarious because we're all gonna go, and then we're all gonna just match each other the entire way because there's no wild card, and then at the end we're all gonna be like, "Well, we all won, so there's no punishment."
There you go. If we all won, then there's no punishment. Actually, no. That means we all lost.
Then we all lose. Yep.
Then we all lost.
There has to be one true champ.
Oh no. Yeah, that's
true. So we need a championship game. Wait, no. Here's the thing. No.
I think
if there's a tie, listen to me. I'm trying to be honest. If there's a tie, Army Navy.
Yeah.
No. Because I don't.
No, you have to pick. You have to pick the exact score, and then just whoever's closest wins it.
No, I like it. I like that.
Okay, whatever.
I like. There's a potential
for
all 4 of us doing this. I like the potential of all 4 of us.
All 4 of us doing it because we were all horrible at picking is the way this should end. So let's move on. Let's start this thing off right. Friday night. It's the Pac-12 championship. Oregon and Utah in Las Vegas for the first time. Utah, the Utes, favored by 3 in this matchup. All lines provided by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code TPN to get started. So, talking about our order here, by the way, I didn't delete the randomize. So we're going to start off. Jameson is our starter here because of course, then Blake, then me, then Ty. So, Jameson, kick us off here. Do you like Utah or do you like Oregon?
I can't pick Oregon again. I was burned too bad in the past. It seems like Utah had their juice. You know, when you play a team twice, it's one thing if it's a close game. I can see, the result flipping and, Oregon having a chance if they kept it close. But Oregon had no shot in that game. They were not even in the same conversation. And maybe there was a little bit of, some –
What happened here?
I just read Ty's comment.
I was like, oh no!
I didn't want to get
No. Okay, Jameson, keep
going. We couldn't put that on StreamYard, but I know some websites where we could put that.
No, oh god. Just Jameson, keep going.
Give me Utah because I can't do it again. It's as simple as that.
Fair enough. Blake, who do you got?
It's more than how unexpected it was, but okay, this week's gonna suck because we're picking a lot of rematches, so you're gonna feel like an idiot either way if you lose. If you pick the team that won the last time and they lose, it's because it's playing one game together, they're gonna learn some new things. You're gonna feel an idiot like that, but if they routed them the first time and they come out and rout them the second time, you're gonna feel like an idiot because obviously that other team was bad. But I'm backing with Jameson here. Give me Utah. I think Mario Cristobal and Joe Moorhead right now have been linked to other jobs, whether it be a possible OU job, maybe a possible Miami job for Cristobal, and then Joe Moorhead is supposedly going to be the next head coach of Akron, Maction program. And so I just think they kind of have their minds elsewhere. I think Anthony Brown is a super limited quarterback. Really, what Utah did last time was they just basically stopped the run. They held them to like 63 rush yards, and that completely shut down Oregon. It seems like the blueprint's pretty easy on how to keep it at least close. So give me Utah.
Yeah, I'm with both of y'all here. I think what Utah showed in that first game was just pure dominance, and frankly, I don't know if there's enough time for Oregon to have turned it around and figured out a proper game plan to stop Utah, and honestly to even score points. That offense looked completely bamboozled. The only thing they've done since then is blow out a spooky Beaver team at home, who is shown to be very vulnerable at times. So I'm going to go with the Utes here to cover the 3 points. I could see this is going to be a better game than the first one, but I still like Utah in this one, sending Oregon straight to the Alamo Bowl against Oklahoma. So, Ty, who do you got?
Yeah, I concur with Bobby. Playing a team twice, especially with a short turnaround in college football, is rough. But had we seen a very close game, maybe I'd be kind of apprehensive. But like you guys said, Mario Cristobal, an amazing coach. Oregon's an amazing program. I've been a big proponent of Oregon for a long time. But you got to consider the fact that he's probably getting calls from OU. He's probably getting calls from Notre Dame and who knows who else right now. So there's definitely a lot going on. Utah dominated the first time. I think Utah -3. I agree with Bobby. I think it'll be a closer game. But give me the Utes -3 here to continue their excellent performance for them for sure.
It's a sweep for the Utes. Moving on, we got the Big 12 championship game. Baylor and Oklahoma State. The Cowboys in their first Big 12 championship appearance. Baylor in their second. Ty, you, as mentioned in the Schooner Pod this week, did not get to see Oklahoma State beat OU. So you missed Bedlam. But what do you think about this game? Do you think OSU wins, gets their moment, gets into the playoff, or do you think the moment's too much for them?
Yeah, so while I did miss Bedlam, I did watch a fair amount of Oklahoma State games this year. Probably not as many as known OSU sleeper agent Bobby. But
Ooh.
I have been pretty high on the Cowboys this year. Actually, I'm not sure if my record backs that up in terms of picking the lines, but the Cowboys have been a really solid team this year. They are firmly, in my opinion, the best team in the Big 12. 5, we're getting close. I would have loved a tree fitty, but I am comfortable with 5 here for this Oklahoma State team, especially against Baylor. Mike Gundy is a really good coach. I don't think anyone can dispute that. He's committed to his team, and he gets his guys to play for big games. And this is an Oklahoma State team that believes in itself. I know this is a Baylor team that believes in itself too. I had a blast in the Big 12, and here they are in the championship game with a win against OU. So props to Baylor, but give me the Cowboys here. Brightest orange in America, playing in Dallas. Give me Oklahoma State -5.
Yeah, if you thought this was like a guns down situation, it's actually just Waluigi's logo. Shout out weird younger brothers. OSU here, I like OSU -5 a lot. Less because of them, kind of more because of Baylor. We already saw the Pokes handle Baylor pretty handily earlier this season, and with Gary Bohannon out for this game, I don't see OSU, dropping this and letting this one be a loss. There's just too much ahead of them. I think if they win, they're basically in the playoff because I don't like Alabama much. And I think we won't even have a debate there, but the Pokes just too close to getting that glory. I don't think they drop it. Give me Oklahoma State -5. I think it'll be a close game. Baylor's going to play with heart for sure. Dave Aranda's an excellent coach, but I think OSU and Gundy they're going to get this thing across the line and get the win, get the cover. Blake,
you know who I'm going with, and Gary, basically what you're getting right here is by taking +5. Gary's been practicing this week. He's been suiting up, so he could go. So you're basically getting a good discount here. If he plays, +5 will look perfect because I would honestly, seeing how Baylor has played over the last few weeks and seeing how they really handled, I think, was a dog going into K-State right after OU, was able to handle business there. And then obviously the OU game where I thought they honestly played a more well-rounded, maybe a less drunk game than OSU. But I really like Baylor here. And even if Gary doesn't play, I know Blake Shapen, supposedly he's pretty good. I haven't really gotten to watch him. I've talked to some of my Baylor friends. They said he's pretty good. He's obviously just more of a game manager type, won't give the same dual threat ability that Gary Bohannon brings, but it would just be so Big 12 that our one chance to get in a team in the playoff that isn't OU, once again, we just botch it and knock out OSU and Notre Dame or some other weird school slips in, all because we can't seem to get out of each other's way like we did in 2014. So I just feel like that's going to be something weird that's going to happen, and I'm just going to take Baylor.
No one's worse at protecting the shield than the actual shield itself.
Remember that the championship game kind of exists for Baylor or TCU. It's a very Blake meta thing.
Yeah, OSU would be done by now if it wasn't for TCU and Baylor just mucking it up. So good job, guys. Anyways, Jameson, who do you got in this?
I think it's really funny because Blake's reasoning and why he's picking Baylor is almost the exact opposite of the reason I'm picking Oklahoma State. And I think Gary Bohannon, practicing this week and possibly playing, I think is a positive for Oklahoma State, for a team that has a great pass rush and great linebacking front seven, for a guy who has a soft tissue hamstring injury that is fighting to come back a little bit sooner than he probably should. That is just a bad recipe for comeback. And I love Oklahoma State's defense if Gary Bohannon is the quarterback. Now, the question there is, Shapen has played pretty decent, but is he good enough to go out and win a big game whenever he's kind of taken over the reins late? And Blake said also that they've been looking good as of recently. That Texas Tech game was a little bit too ugly for me. And I understand that was a little quick turnaround of, new maybe a look-ahead game too. But I can't take that. I love Oklahoma State -5 here. It's probably my favorite pick on the slate.
Okay, there you go. Moving on, we pick all of the championships except for the Conference USA, maybe.
No, we're picking it. We'll
pick the Conference USA.
I gave out that pick on the start of what do you call it, the preview show.
The gambling show,
I was talking about the conference. Yes, so
okay,
let's
go ahead and do it then.
Yes.
Conference USA Championship, it's UTSA and who are they playing again?
Western Kentucky.
The Hilltoppers.
So we're changing the order. Oh, Lord.
Yes, we are changing. Surprise, Jameson. So, yeah.
You never saw this coming.
You never saw this coming. Yeah, so Meep, after a shockingly just brutal loss, I bet this one personally, and I'm furious at them, a brutal loss to a bad North Texas team, is entering this game as a 1-point favorite against the Hilltoppers and their very, very amazing just red blob mascot. Jameson, who do you got?
I'm going to stop you. The line is actually UTSA 2-point dogs.
Oh, it shifted. Okay.
That is a very big difference between...
No, this morning it was 1-point favored. I swear I saw it.
What does DraftKings have it at currently?
Yeah,
sponsored by
2-point
DraftKings CPT.
Oh, 2-point dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, Jameson, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Western Kentucky because UTSA is really faltered at the end here. I don't know what it is, but I'm looking at trends here. And Blake, he hates North Texas, and I trust his analysis on that. And if you lose to North Texas that bad, I can't pick you. And plus, the line's shifting hard. Pick Western Kentucky.
Okay, some love for the Hilltoppers. Blake, who do you got?
Yep, so I'm backing with Jameson because I know why this line is moving, and that's because Western Kentucky is honestly a legitimately good Conference USA team, and it's just because of UTSA's record this entire year and kind of the narrative behind them that we think there's some powerhouse in the Conference USA, but Western Kentucky is a very prolific pass offense. They got this quarterback, Bailey Zapp. He's awesome. He's only had one game this year where he's thrown under 300 yards. This team just airs it out like no other. They can just put up points. And as we saw last week, if we're going to go against a UNT team, a Seth Luttrell that usually likes to spread it out, try to pass it, that's obviously a weakness for UTSA. They're horrible at defending the pass. They're 109th in the nation in yards per attempt, 98th in coverage grade. We saw it last week, and they're going up against a even more prolific offense in Western Kentucky. I think the Hilltoppers got this one, which is sad because I have a UTSA Conference USA future. But they are a really good offensive team. They have no defense, but their offensive weapons are incredible.
Yeah, no, obviously very concerned about UTSA's performance last week. Very mad about it, honestly. And it shows me some warning signs, honestly. And, when a line's like this, it kind of, I don't know. I don't like the momentum. I don't like where Meep's been going. But you know what? I don't know. I like... It's a conference championship. I believe it's a home game for them. I think the Dome will be rocking. I'm gonna bet against the grain here. Go with Meep. I'm gonna stick with him. I'm gonna stick with him through the good times. Stick with the bad times. I'm not like a Lincoln Riley type. I'm not Brian Kelly. I'm gonna stick with him. Because they need a little love. They need a little support. They just lost to North Texas. That's pretty sad. But that being said, perfect season, all of that hype's out of the way. They can focus on winning this championship, and I think that consolation is enough to get it done. I think they figure it out. A lot of mistakes, a lot of fumbles in that North Texas game. I think they'll be more disciplined and bring home the win.
So, you guys, nobody mentioned this. They've played already this season. The final results, it was it was first half of the season. It was week 5, maybe 6, depending on. It was in October, early October, and UTSA won 52-46, which is close. But what 52-46 is not is WKU -2. Do I think that they're going to have the same score? Obviously not, right? Like teams change, but I got to ride with the sort of the ranking member. I gotta sort of kiss the ring here, and I gotta ride with Bobby on this one. I think UTSA, do they win it? I don't know. But Western Kentucky -2 when they've already played this season, and it was early in the season, but it wasn't necessarily like excusably early. It wasn't like week 1 through 3 or 0 through 3 where things can be anomalies. It was around middle season. So I like UTSA here. I have no clue who's going to win. I wouldn't put any money on this. But in terms of the Schooner Pod and sort of determining who guzzles glizzies, give me the Roadrunners here as the not late, not so great Kendall Roy once said, tell dad, meep.
I love it. Let's move back to the MAC championship game, which we were talking about earlier. The Kent State Golden Flashes against the Northern Illinois Huskies. It'll be popping at Ford Field with all 300 people in there. Kent State favored by 2.5. Ty, I'll let you start us off here.
So just like Pistol Pete, just like Mike Gundy, I got the mullet. We're shooting from the hip here. I don't know anything about these teams. Northern Illinois looks like a made-up team from a Disney Channel original. And I only know of Kent State because I've already been canceled once on this pod, so we're not even going to say anything. Don't. Give me Kent State -2.5 here. They're the favorites, and blue and gold, much better branding than red and black. I've never been a big red and black fan. One of the reasons I can never get on the Falcons train whenever they were good. So give me the Kent State. I'm assuming they're the Eagles, judging by their sort of logo. So
Golden Flashes.
I promise you, I'm not attaching myself to one of Ty's Christmas tree branches here, as Greg the Egg did to the great Tom Wanskans. But I'm going with Kent State here, only because OU plays them next year, and it would be nice for them to have a little momentum going into that matchup. It'd be nice, like, oh, the MAC champion Kent State Golden Flashes coming to Norman. Everyone buy your tickets. Everyone would be hyped for that, obviously.
Yeah.
No one would be worried about this offseason because they're like, guys, we have Kent State coming to town. They won the MAC. So for the purpose of promotions and PR, I'm going with Kent State.
I'm actually Shiv because of the hair, but yeah.
Oh, clearly, yeah, definitely. Anyways, Blake, who do you got?
Yeah, so I'm world's biggest Kent State fan this weekend. I forgot I placed a wager at the beginning of the season for Kent State plus 1,200 to win the MAC, which put them around middle tier of their conference, and they are actually in this championship game. So I looked up the last game, complete that they played this year a few weeks ago, complete shootout, 52-47, similar to Western Kentucky UTSA. There's over 1,300 yards in this game. It's just complete offense. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be who gets the ball last. But I need that Kent State future to hit. That would be awesome. That would be my biggest bet hit of all time. So please, 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 Kent State Golden Flashes. And I'm not hedging out of it either. I could hedge out of it, but I'm not hedging.
I love it. No hedges over here. Jameson, who do you like?
I was looking more into this game. I was trying to learn more about the teams and, maybe if they're more of a running, passing style, defensive offense, it looks like there's a lot of offense. So and naturally, whenever you look at offensive teams, you look and see how good their quarterbacks are. And I looked at the NIU Kent State game and I looked at the quarterback's performance, and the NIU's quarterback's name is Rocky Lombardi. And I was like, ooh, I like it. Strong name. I'm going to pick NIU. But then I clicked the tab and I saw Kent State's quarterback. His name is Dustin Crum. He's a Hrum. So, so I am going with the Hrum and Dustin Crum of Kent State.
Okay, sweep for the Golden Flashes there. Moving on to the Mountain West Championship, we have Utah State going on the road to San Diego State. They play at the Chargers' old stadium, so weird. Which is very much in Los Angeles, not we're not talking Qualcomm here. So
yeah, it's in shreds.
This game is a nice noon kickoff. Feel like this should be starting at 11 p.m. Central, but whatever. Anyways, Jameson, who do you got between the Aggies and the Aztecs?
Screw you, Utah State football, go Aztecs.
Okay, there you go. Blake, who do you got?
Screw San Diego State football. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them having to be in my life every single week. They are not the legitimate champion of the Mountain West. They aren't. That should have been Nevada. That should have been Fresno State. A worthy adversary. But, of course, I have to have Boise State last week blowing like a 13, 14-point lead and San Diego State winning by double digits. Like, This is ending. This is ending this week. Blake Anderson and his squad have a very pass-heavy juggernaut. San Diego State, the one game they lost this year, Fresno, Jake Hayner, very good pass offense. Logan Bonner, 32 passing touchdowns this year for Utah State. They've been very sneaky good. I didn't think when I watched them early on the season they would do anything. They were struggling against FCS teams, but you know what? Screw San Diego State. Screw them. Not my Mountain West champions. Give me the Mountain West champion Utah State to win the Mountain West championship.
I personally think the Mountain West Mountain is the worst conference in the Mountain West. I prefer the Mountain West. And not only that, but I also prefer the punt god himself, Matareza of San Diego State. The guy's incredible. He's electric. He just fully enjoyable. And that's pretty much all I know about San Diego State other than Blake's undying hatred of him. So just to go against the Crowley man here, give me the Aztecs -6 to get the win at kind of home and take out Utah State. Ty?
Yeah, so the one thing about the Schooner Pod, our listeners know this. I don't know if my co-hosts know this, but the Schooner Pod was once voted by J.D. Power as having the most intelligent listeners of any podcast ever. That's an award that we've won years running now. And because our listeners are the most intelligent listeners, they know this. But I'm not going to mention anyone specifically, but just at maybe potentially hypothetically, one of our co-hosts. The Mayans and the Aztecs were different people in different time frames and different locations. Neither of them were in San Diego, interestingly enough. With all that being said, give me the Aztecs here. As I just said, I don't like red and black branding. I do like the blue and silver more.
Don't you really like those Texas Tech jerseys though? The red and black ones.
Yeah,
I honestly have no clue what Texas Tech is, and I'm not allowed to say anything about Texas Tech per Wikipedia, and maybe a potential pending lawsuit. Just kidding. But I
thought
no
that was Texas State.
Yeah. No, no. So Texas Tech, yeah, that is Texas State. Texas Tech, I like because the gray. But yeah, give me.
It's the bad.
Give me the Aztecs here. Give me the Aztecs here over Utah State. Aztecs were cool people. They had really sharp weapons made of. I forget what it was called.
Okay.
But it was made from like a volcano.
Okay.
Rocks. Yeah, it was very sharp. It wasn't jade.
Oh Lord.
We're moving on.
Somebody knows, but yeah.
Moving on. Look.
They ate people's hearts.
Okay.
Aztecs -6. Let's go.
Okay, Aztecs -6. Heavy picks on San Diego State. Hey, that might be all of our downfalls against Blake. Or it could be the thing that... Look, San Diego State could be the thing that seals Blake into the glitzy spot, which would make me... This is a big game now, I must say. But, look...
This is a podcast. You have to say what the game is.
We're talking about San Diego State because everyone faded Utah State. So, anyways, moving on to the Sun Belt Championship. Look, if OU can't be in it, at least we have some App State in my weekend spread. We've got Yosef here, favored by 2.5. Ty, kick us off.
Why would OU be in the Sun Belt Championship?
I was saying, like, if they can't be in the weekend spread.
Okay. I don't really know. Again, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, we'll try to post it on the social medias again. They have branding like a fast food restaurant. App State, Western North Carolina is absolutely gorgeous. I've lived in North Carolina. Every podcast goes to this. Give me the Appalachian State Yosefs. I don't know what their actual team name is because we just always use Yosef.
Mountaineers.
App State. Mountaineers. Give me the Mountaineers. Give me the Moonshine Men. Give me the creators of NASCAR. Give me the Bitmore Estates. Everything about Western North Carolina could not recommend enough. Give me App State -250.
Yeah, no, give me App State as well, obviously. Not only do I love Yosef and all of his shenanigans, but, Louisiana just lost Billy Napier to Florida. So that, anytime you have a coach leave, that's a pretty big sting right there. Mm-hmm. The guy pretty much made the Ragin' Cajuns. Hey, last year App State had a year off. They had a down year. Coastal Carolina came in, won the conference. But this year, they get back to winning the Sun Belt. Their natural born place atop the Sun Belt. So give me Yosef to cover 2.5. Blake,
are we sure? So Billy Napier's for sure not coaching this game, right?
I mean, once you announce you're leaving, the effect is kind of the same, right?
But it's like, G5 schools are a little bit different, because you have more of like a unique tie there. Wait. He might.
That didn't happen with.
Okay. I'm just gonna go with what I originally thought. I'm second guessing myself. That's wrong. I'm going with App State. Honestly, in a weird way, I like the fact that the Raging Cajuns blew App State out because it might have caused if you blow a team out, you don't know what plays they're going to run against you. Really, you don't really know how to scheme against them because you were just so ahead all the time. You weren't even trying. App State kind of owns them when it comes to these games. They faced them twice, beat them both times in the championship game, and then could have played them last year and could have beaten them there. I like App State's dominance in this spot, so I got to back Yosef. But Billy Napier might be coaching next week, though, which is kind of scary. That's very scary.
Yeah, no, in his goodbye letter, he ended it by saying, "We look forward to seeing you at Cajun Field this Saturday." So I take that back. Napier might actually be coaching this one. But still, I like Yosef anyway.
Yep, he's for sure coaching the game.
Okay. Give me Yosef still. Jameson?
Y'all just made my decision easier. I've been thinking I was going to pick Louisiana this whole time because I like picking the teams after the head coach leaves. It's kind of helped me a little bit this year, most notably my Florida game. But guess what? You just told me he's not leaving and he is staying to coach that game. No interim head coach to rally the troops. Give me Appalachian State.
God, this is all coming down to Utah State.
No. We're gonna get some divergent stuff here soon.
Well, we're also divergent. You're also divergent from the group on Baylor. So
it's called foreshadowing. Roll Tide, roll.
Oh God. Moving on to the American Conference champion or the Big 12 JV championship, Houston and Cincinnati. This one is a road game for the Houston Cougars. The Nippert Stadium will be rocking for this one. Cincy favored by 10.5. Jameson, do you think Cincinnati can finish the job out, finish their undefeated season, and enter the? I'm not. The question isn't on the playoff, but if they win, they're very much likely in. But do they get the cover? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a huge question. I don't think they get the cover. I think it's a little ugly at the end. I'm going to go Houston on the 10.5 side. I still think Cincinnati wins it, but I think it's going to create a big question moving in to the final CFP. Say if Alabama were to beat Georgia, of the Oklahoma State versus Cincinnati team, the Cincinnati team that hasn't really impressed too much, but has still made their way to an undefeated season, versus an Oklahoma State team that I truly hope if they get to the end, they would look at more tape and finally realize how solid they've been the whole year and should have more respect and should be in over Cincinnati, that the way they're playing. Because it's crazy to think Oklahoma State, if they got into the playoffs and say if they were, for example, they got the 3 seed and they played Michigan, I could honestly see them winning that game. You put Cincinnati in the 3 seed, I don't know if I could see them winning that game. So give me Houston to cover here, but not to win.
Okay, I like it. Blake, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm riding with Jameson. I think Cincinnati, looking at the grades for between Houston and Notre Dame, Houston grades as a better team overall. They have a better defense, and that was by far probably the hardest opponent Cincinnati has faced. And so I think people see the number besides Houston's name and think they're not as good because they've clawed all this way to get into the 20s, but they lost a week 1 game, but then have rattled off 11 straight. Like, that's pretty impressive. And their offense, I think Clayton Tune's a good enough quarterback, but their defense is just incredible. And so the reason why people hate on the G5 is because things like this happen is the G5 team slips up, and that's why they don't deserve it, even though I think they bias against G5 schools like Houston in the first place, that people will say, oh, Houston's such trash, like Cincinnati was never good because they lost to them. Well, Houston, I think, has been a really good team all year. It's just we're judging them off of the one loss that they had in week 1. So I think Houston has a chance to even win this game, but 10 points is too much to cover for me. Give me Houston.
Yeah, no, I'm with both of you. Houston is one bad Texas Tech home game loss away from being right up there with Cincinnati. And if you look at what they've done on the field, if you look at their talent, if you look at what they're more than capable of covering 10.5, and we've seen it with Cincy last year in their American championship. It was tight again with Tulsa. Tulsa took them down to the wire. So I think Houston has enough in the tank to keep it close. I still think Cincinnati wins, but give me the Cougs to get the 10.5 cover here. And that hook, I could see this being a narrow 10-point game, and you get that nice little backdoor Houston cover. So, Ty, who do you got?
Listeners of the Schooner Pod, can I just say I feel like all 3 of my co-hosts are named Lincoln Riley, because I feel like I am co-hosting with absolute snakes here. I can verify this with screenshots. Months ago, I committed to the statement that Houston and Cincinnati were different only in their geographical location. I've been calling Cincinnati the Houston of the North. It is a commuter school that is good at football only because they have a garbage schedule. And now I tune in to the Schooner Pod live, not even tune in because I'm hosting it, and I hear my 3 co-hosts parrot talking points that I've been talking since September. I've been saying that Cincy and Houston are identical schools. They have identical branding, black and red and white, a cringe branding like we've mentioned a couple times on this podcast, and they are only respected because of their schedules. The Baylor Bears, the garbage Oklahoma Sooners without a head coach would be undefeated with Cincy's schedule. Like, it's not. And Houston lost to Texas.
Are you sure?
Okay? Are you kidding me?
Y'all struggled.
Cincy's hanging their hat.
Y'all struggled with bottom. Y'all struggled with Tulane, who is the
who we
worst
beat. Who we beat.
Who is the worst team in the Americas.
Who we beat.
So
Cincy's hanging their hat on what? A win against Illinois.
A road Notre Dame win.
A road Notre Dame win.
Notre Dame doesn't even have a coach. Give me.
Y'all don't either.
I understand that was different. I understand that was different in the past. Give me. Okay, what I was going to say, though, in short, I don't want to take up too much time. Give me the Cougars here. I've been saying for months, that these are the same teams. I think Cincy will win. I think I concur with everyone on the podcast with this. But 10.5, double digits, no. Give me the Cougars here to cover.
There you go. Moving on to the rest of our Power 5 championships after we kind of let it off with the Big 12 in the pack. We have the Big 10 championship between Iowa and Michigan, who had a tremendous win last week. Ty, do you think Michigan carries over their momentum from that Ohio State game and gets the 10.5 point cover, which is what the spread is? I forgot to say that part.
Yeah, I've been down on Iowa early, and I don't want to. I jokingly referred to myself earlier in our group text as NCAA Stradamus, but I don't think that I am. I'm below 500 here on the pick'ems, but I've never really been that high on Iowa, even when they were getting a lot of hype. I mean, I think they peaked at 2 this season. Michigan, I've also been really low on them, but last week has really turned me around. So I have truly gained a lot of respect for the Wolverines. I love the blue and yellow branding, as we know. And I'm not super comfortable with it, but I like Michigan minus 10.5 here. I think Iowa has not been a good offensive team. They've not been an explosive offensive team. And if Michigan can perform well against Ohio State, then certainly they can beat Iowa by 10.5. So give me the Wolverines. Give me old khaki pants on the sidelines.
Yeah, no, I think Michigan has this game and this cover in the bag. Iowa has been overrated all season long. They've just hung around and hung around and hung around. Iowa should have lost to Nebraska last weekend, but the Huskers just had to go and blow it in the most titanic way possible, which was apparent to everybody except for me, who picked them because a dead guy told me to, which is just great. So, anyways, I'm fading Iowa again. Give me Michigan and Jim Harbaugh to close it out. That Harbaugh is basically just a khakied, more Midwestern Mike Gundy anyway. So I think they're both kind of in the same position here. Legacies are on the line, as my good friend Ant Wright would say. And I think they get it. I think they get it done, and I think they get it done decisively.
Yep, I'm continuing the bandwagon. It's Michigan and Iowa. They're what Iowa always is. They're a fundamentally sound team. They're always going to get 8 wins probably just because of how well their coaching staff is, but they can't beat elite talent. And Michigan this year has finally proven to be elite. I hate a team like Iowa that's been benching on and off their quarterbacks because they can't seem to figure that out. They really have had no offensive consistency. Like, they won by 5 against Northwestern, which should say it all. Like, Northwestern's a really bad team this year. Like, I know Pat Fitzgerald's a good coach, but that team was horrendous this year. It's the only team Nebraska was able to beat in the Big Ten. So that should say everything. I just think Michigan, there's no way. Even if there's a chance that this game is, I just can't stomach Iowa trying to keep this game close. That's too hard for me to believe. I'm going to take this even if it's a loss. There's no way this Iowa offense can keep it close.
Fair enough, Jameson.
Yeah. Whenever you first sent us the lines on this, I was like, you know what? I could see Michigan having a little bit of a letdown because it was a great environment versus Ohio State, and that was their big win. And they absolutely just pushed themselves onto the scene of being the number 2 team in college football. And I was like, you know what? I don't love Iowa, but I could see myself picking them. I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I was looking into it. And Iowa doesn't even know who they're going to be starting at quarterback, with Padilla versus Petrus or however you say his name. Seriously, you never ever pick a team that doesn't know who their quarterback's going to be. It's just as simple as that for me. Give me Michigan. Even though I'm not as high on Michigan's hype when it comes down to the numbers side of things, I still think they're a very good team. I think they're just being boosted a little bit by that Ohio State win. With the culture and all of that stuff, in the snow, I think extremely helped them in a physicality game versus more of a finesse team in Ohio State. But I can't. It's more of an anti-Iowa thing for me than a pro-Michigan.
There you go. Yeah, a sweep for the Wolverines. Moving on, we have Wake Forest and Pitt, the thing that we all have dreamed about. This is the ACC championship presented by the Sickos Committee. It's beautiful. It's what we all thought would happen at the beginning of the season. I don't know where I'm going to go on this, so I'm excited to hear what y'all have to say. Jameson, which horrible team are you picking?
I'm going to go with Pitt. And it's a little tough for me because, you got a lot of firepower when it comes down to the offense. But at least Pittsburgh has a more competent defense than that of Wake Forest. Wake Forest has been able to shoot out some wins in the past, and we know there's a big argument between that and NC State that we were talking about. But I don't think it hangs here. I like Pittsburgh. I like Kenny Pickett having a good game and covering the spread.
Yep. I'm going Wake. I came into the season with the principle, Pat Narduzzi and Pitt, they're awesome as underdogs, really scrappy, gonna cover the spread, but whenever they're favorites, they can't handle that success. Wake has just been on a weird tear this year. I think this is gonna be an awesome game. This is honestly, for the college football diehards, this is going to be just a fun game to watch. It's going to get no attention by any national media or really anybody, but these are just going to be 2 fun teams to watch. So I'm just going to take the points at Wake Forest and just pray they can kind of have their dream season of a lifetime.
Yeah, this is going to be a total slog, but look, and I've loved picking Super Weapon Pitt. It makes me so happy. But you can't be a super weapon as a favorite. And not only that, but they've already used their charges. And on top of all of that, I can't fire it on my dear, beloved Demon Deacons. I've been riding with them for so long. In fact, a couple years ago, I'm pretty sure I picked a value pick for them to win the ACC championship. So you know what? 2019, Bobby, this one's for you, bud. Wake Forest to win the ACC championship. Book your tickets to wherever they're going to end up going, probably the Peach Bowl. Wake, you deserve it, guys. You deserve it. Just go out there and win it, though. So, Ty, sorry, go for it.
Pitt, believe it or not, I was shocked to learn this back in the day. Pitt actually has a fairly substantial fan base, which I never would have guessed. In fact, when I lived in North Carolina, which is where Wake Forest is from, when I didn't live with my wife, before that, my roommate was a diehard Pitt fan, more so on hockey and the Penguins, which are not a Pitt team. They're a professional team. But yeah, I learned a lot about Pitt at that time, played a lot of Pitt on NCAA 14 and whatnot. So I do have a soft spot for Pitt. Wake Forest, Purdue, Vandy, Wake Forest. They're all the same school. They're all a government conspiracy to fool you into getting the vaccine. Not to get too political.
Oh, dear God.
And there we go.
But,
there we go. There we go.
Oh, man. Oh,
Politics.
It's got medical politics on us here.
It'll get blamed on Bobby. it'll get blamed on Bobby, so it's all good.
There you go.
Yeah, Purdue, Vandy, Wake Forest are it's the same school. You cannot prove to me that they're any different. I know this for a fact. Source, I said.
Is it
so.
because their colors are the same?
It's all the color thing.
It's not because but also like, can you name where those schools are from? Like,
you've been talking about colors
right?
the whole.
No, but you can name like kind of states, but like they're from where exactly? Like, I've lived in these states that they're allegedly from, and I can't even tell you where these places are from. Right? Like, these are places that people like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk have on like their tax returns to like get out of paying taxes. Like I'm sure that Jeff Bezos has a yacht flagged in Wake Forest because is it real? Is it not?
I'm just going to stop you. Do you not know where Vanderbilt is from? Because it's not some random place.
I know about the Vanderbilts and like trains and stuff and how they.
But you know where their campus is, right?
It's in Nashville,
Vanderbilt, New Jersey. I don't know. Give me Wake Forest.
Okay.
Give me Wake Forest plus 3.
That's enough of that one.
Let's move.
Bobby's gonna have a hell of a time editing tonight.
You can't get so.
Here's the thing. I don't think any of y'all know. I never edit unless it's something. I have to edit today, but I typically never edit. I'm not going to edit the vaccine thing. That was funny. Don't get the vaccine, everyone. For real, do it.
Oh man.
Or is that what big Purdue, Wake Forest, and Vanderbilt want you to think, Bobby?
I just want to point out I have an unfair advantage. I've been listening to the Succession soundtrack this entire time.
Oh my god. Okay, moving on. We have Alabama and Georgia. The Dogs favored by 6.5. When this line opened up, it was 4 before last week's narrow victory against Auburn. Ty, you mentioned some Alabama before the game or before we start talking. Who you going with?
So here's the thing. I'm going to be just to clarify out front to preface. I'm being serious. Nick Saban has a ridiculous record, and I'm not talking covering. I'm talking winning outright, regardless of who's the favorite against his former assistants. Kirby Smart being a former Saban assistant in the Saban tree, depending on how you look at it. With that being said, Georgia is absolutely unequivocally the best team in college football by a massive margin this year. Georgia is in a league of their own. But it would not surprise me because a lot of our opinions of Georgia, they are in the SEC East. A lot of our opinions of Georgia are based on wins against South Carolina, who wasn't expected to be good and is better than we expected because of Shane Beamer. Shout out to Coach Beamer. Wins against Florida, who has fired Dan Mullen, who knows what happened with Dan Mullen. And then a win against Clemson, who has been just abysmal this season. So it would not surprise me if something crazy happened here. Nick Saban, absolutely the best coach in college football. I would be remiss to not mention the fact that coaches like Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly are allegedly making like $15 million potentially a year, while Nick Saban is making like $8.5 million a year, which is absurd. Brian Kelly is worth 15 a year. Then Nick Saban is worth like 40 or 50 million a year. All that being said, all that's conjecture. I really don't feel like anyone can have an accurate analysis of this game just because Bama has been disappointing, but Saban just has that magic. With all that being said, give me the Dogs by a touchdown. I laid some tomfoolery. I was not expecting to go first on this one because of my sort of deliberate subterfuge, but give me the Bulldogs. Instead of English, I will just bark at people for the rest of this take. So
there you go. I think I like it. What I know I do like is the pick. Alabama's been floundering all season long, and I know there's the Saban thing with assistants. Kirby Smart is going to do it. This is it. They are perfectly primed for this. And I honestly, just across the board, the better team. Defensively, offensively, they are ready for this moment. They've had nothing but cupcakes up until this. They've been focused on them. They've probably been game planning for Alabama since, like, at this point, like week 11. So it is. There's nothing here I don't like about Georgia. I think they get a tremendous win here, and I think there's potential. We take a look back at this being the kind of crowning moment where Kirby Smart finally takes the mantle of king of the SEC from Nick Saban, the same way that Nick Saban sent Tebow and his Gator dynasty out in a puddle of tears and sadness in 2009. I feel like we could be witnessing that on Saturday with Georgia and the Dogs. So UGA minus 6.5, easy.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bobby. I think this one's going to be, honestly, a complete blowout. And I understand Ty's worries about maybe Georgia and who they played, but the thing that I think is so impressive about that is they haven't struggled against a single opponent. They've been crushing every opponent they've come across. And so, like, yes, it could be like teams that you've played nobody, but usually you could see, oh, they've had a few close games here or there. Their closest one has been Clemson, and honestly, even though the score doesn't show, fairly dominated them the entire game. And if you're trying to poke holes in Georgia, you go and look at their secondary maybe and be like, oh, Bryce Young, these receivers can take apart the secondary. But look, we saw it last week in Michigan, Ohio State. It doesn't matter if you have bad corners, if your defensive line and pass rush is so elite that they don't even have time to get the ball off. We saw it last week with C.J. Stroud. We saw last week how Bama's offensive line was horrible. They're horrible this year. It's been a weird year. Saban obviously doesn't have the guys that he needs up there. Auburn made it a game, even with their anemic offense and a quarterback that was basically like, I'm like, please just pull him. Like, he can't walk. Like, this man can't walk. And so I just think this is the perfect year that Kirby Smart can capitalize, because you need an offensive line in the SEC to win football games, and Alabama just does not have it against this elite Georgia front. So give me Georgia. Like, I think they're going to win big.
Okay. Jameson, you got to make it a sweep for the Dogs.
I'm very glad that y'all all picked the Dogs, because y'all be eating the Dogs if you pick the Dogs. Give me Alabama to keep it close. You're saying that Georgia has been, preparing for Alabama this long. I guarantee you Alabama's been doing the same damn thing, so it goes both ways. And I think Blake just said it. I think Alabama's passing attack can put some pressure on the Dogs, and I think the Dogs' defense in front seven is very powerful. And I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than you think, because I think Alabama's defense is going to put it into gear, and Georgia's offense, that they have really capitalized on working off their defense in short fields. And this is the most potent by far offense they played the whole year, because to be completely frank, they have not played that good of any offense this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who's the best offense that Georgia's played this year? They played some good teams, but how many offenses have they actually played?
You're probably, like, if you're looking at offenses, probably their best one is Tennessee.
And that ain't it.
Hooker.
And that's, okay, I understand they've been like a little bit, bouncing back, but still, come on. They still have yet to play a passing attack like this, and I think it's going to keep it close. I still think Georgia wins, but give me Georgia by, 3 points or 4 points in that range. I think Alabama keeps it close. Dogs, picking the Dogs, get y'all Dogs. Y'all know it's coming.
Okay, well, there you go. So
wait, so Georgia by 3 is not Georgia by 6.5. So how are you picking Georgia?
He picked out.
No, he's picking Bama.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Stop listening to the soundtrack and pay attention to the
pod. I was too hung up on the fact.
I will start my, now that we've finished the picks, I will be picking my wild card.
I was too hung up on the fact that Blake did not defend AR-15 like he's been doing all season.
We do not have wild cards, and we
give me the Trojans plus 4.
You never saw this coming. I summoned Pot of Greed.
Jameson is out of Pot of Greens. He has deducted a 1-game penalty and is now behind all of us in the race for the Dogs.
No, referees are supposed to ignore the first time they ask for a timeout when you don't have any timeouts. That is in the rule books. So
it wasn't
you
a
should
timeout; it
ignore
was an
me.
extra pick. Anyways, I'm kidding. Jameson is not subtracted.
The Lincoln
but-
Riley boost. Same thing happened at Georgia Southern.
Oh man. Well, there you go. All right. So it looks like me and Ty are riding together on every single pick.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
So me and Ty are tethered on the dogs. Either we both take home the championship, or it's going to be.
no,
but
wait,
are
Georgia.
Bobby and
You
Blake,
chose
are
Georgia,
Bobby
though.
and Blake, or I'm sorry, are Jameson
they
and
both
Blake?
picked
Ty
Georgia.
picked Georgia.
No, he
Or
didn't.
Jamie.
He picked Bama.
No, I picked Georgia.
He
Oh,
pivoted.
you did? Oh my gosh.
I
okay.
said that it was subterfuge to imply that I was going to pick Bama.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know-
Are
And I've-
Blake and
I've got-
Jameson different though?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're different by 4
Yes.
different picks. So
Okay,
there's
so
a chance also
so
that
certainly Bobby and I shouldn't lose. Famous last words, but
Yeah, that's
what I'm-
not
what
how
I'm
it
trying to
works.
That doesn't make sense.
Ty
does make
thinks if
sense.
you like choose the same as like everybody else, you can't lose. I'm
I
like,
got
"Yes, that's
super
not how
I
it
got
works."
super confident last week when I started out 3-0. And then we ended up tied because wild cards.
let's just do a stat for the listeners. I went back and checked while we were recording. Ty is 2 for 11. 2 and 11. Not 2 for 11. 2
And
and
one
11.
of those is pot of greed. I have
No,
one
no,
true wild
no.
card win.
So I didn't count the pot of greed. It was 2 and 11. If you would have not
So
done
actually,
any
I won
wild cards,
2 wild cards. Yeah, no,
If
I
you-
would be firmly in the lead without wild cards.
yeah, you would be easily green if you would have let other people make
Yeah.
the decisions for you of what to
No,
pick.
no, but
Long
listen,
as
here's-
it's your
I'll take it
decision making is
if
poor.
you're going to eliminate wild cards for me, then you have to reasonably eliminate them for other people. I kind of did the quick maths in my head. All of everyone else is overwhelmingly in the green for the wild cards. So if we just completely eliminated wild cards, I would be firmly in the lead, which is unfortunate.
Ty's like a horse. Like when he has his blinders on, he's good at going straight and everything. But the second
Yeah.
you take those off, he's
You
ducking
gotta let me
around.
choose. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. But yeah, that was another season of the weekend spread. Looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. We've had a lot of really good times through the years on these, and just it's just been a blast picking, and hope y'all have enjoyed it. Obviously, not our best season of picking, but still a good time. Next year we need to find another randomizer because I kind of missed the dice from last year.
We gotta get the Schooner Sim in here next year because that was fun. The 1 week we had it, that was a good time.
Yeah, we gotta work on getting Michael in on it for sure. So, all right, guys, that is it for this season of the Weekend Spread. We'll be back to talk Bulls, of course, and just keep an eye out for the dogs. The dogs will be coming. Who will be eating the dogs? I don't know. It won't be all 4 of us, that's for sure. So,
Might be 2 of us.
It could be all 4 of us, Bobby.
How could it be all 4
No,
of us?
there's no way. There's literally no way it could be all 4 of us.
It's because...
So Blake and I differentiate on 4 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so there's no way. There's literally no way it could be all 4.
I'll be in the lab. I'll try to figure this out.
We need to find the scenarios. The quad dog scenario. Anyways, thank y'all so much for listening. This has been the Weekend Spread. We will see y'all soon. Picking bowls, talking OU stuff, and looking forward to it. So, have a good weekend. Good luck out there, and happy picking.